How long do you think we've been friends for now?
I think since 2020, I think.
You came back because of COVID?
I came back because... No, I didn't come back because of COVID.
Why'd you come back?
I came back because they decided to give me a different role. So when I was in West Africa, the guys... So they wanted me to come back early 2020, actually. And I refused. So I said to them, no, I don't want to come back. And because I was enjoying it up there, you know, it was like my second home. So when and then the guy said, no, we've got a different role for you. We want you to come. I want to give you a promotion, etc. And I was like, no, I don't want the promotion. I'm fine.
Yes, man.
So because I didn't like the role, you know, and I did not, because I don't do things just because they're promoting me. I do things if I'm going to add value. And if it's crystal clear how I'm going to add value in that process. So I refused. I said, no, I don't want it. So they said to me, okay, cool. So they let me go. No, October. So they came to me and said, listen here. So the CEO and the Emtee came, like I was sitting in Conakry at the airport. I remember very well. So they called me.
Sitting where?
At the airport in Conakry.
Conakry.
Conakry is the capital city of Guinea.
Okay.
So sitting at the airport, so they called me, so I went in, and so they said, put your video on. So I put my video on. So the guy was like, listen here, please make sure that you pack your stuff, you're coming back to South Africa, 1st of November, you're starting at the head office, we're not asking you, we're telling you, and we're going to give you this role. So I like the role, but...
How? You just said you didn't like the role?
No, it's a different role.
Oh, a different role.
A different role. So
okay.
the first role, it was not about operations. So
okay.
So it was about business development. So
okay.
I didn't like it because it was not crystal clear to me how I'm going to add value in the process. So I decided, no, when they spoke about operations, I was like, yeah, I'm an ops guy, so I'm cool. So, but, you know, I didn't want to come still, but it was an instruction, so I came down. So
2020?
2020.
That's when we met?
That's when we met, yeah.
Jeez. So who is they?
3 years now.
Who is they, and why were you in West Africa in Guinea?
So I'm a mining engineer by profession.
Okay.
So I work for a mining contracting company that at that point in time had contracts in Guinea, like had a contract in Guinea, we had a contract in Mali, had a contract in Burkina Faso, had a contract in Ghana, had a contract in Tanzania. So, but I was based in Guinea initially.
Serious company, this.
Yeah, I would like to think so.
But what's a mining contracting company? Because my understanding is there's a mine. Someone owns a mine and then uber rich. Obviously, I'm asking these questions. Let me actually say this because you're visiting me and you're a mate of mine.
Yeah.
So I ask these prompting and leading questions on the platform, and sometimes I see people are like, oh, Pen, you don't know these things. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to let the guy shine. For fuck's sakes, let the oak shine.
But you're also trying to let me educate people that might not know, because you must not assume that everybody knows.
We can't just speak about, you say West Africa when you were, and you're like, what are these guys talking about? So sorry. So just that clarity on, sometimes I ask people questions. You might be like, but Pen, you know. But for people that don't know, it's because I might know.
Yeah.
But in the interest of the conversation and in the interest of education, we may need to go back and do that. What's a mining contracting company? Does a person not just own a mine and mine?
No, so what happens is that contracting company came into play when the mining house, which the guys that own the mine, etc. So say Penuel owns the mine and you're mining gold in Randburg. And you say that, you know what, I cannot put, I need to de-risk myself from the whole project. So I will do the processing of gold as Penuel, and I will do the selling and beneficiate it, whatever the case might be. So you're going to do that part of it. And you say that, but I don't want to do the mining because I don't want to invest in expensive equipment and. And in any case, I'm in the game of selling gold. So
I'm not a miner. I'm a gold seller.
Some people, some mining companies do mining themselves. So most of the mining companies are shifting to use contractors. So they will come to me as a contractor. So the tender will be out. couple of us will price the tender. If, technically I'm good and the price is competitive, then they will say, okay, Siya PTY Ltd contractor, come through and then come mine for us. So I'll come through there and mine for them. So my scope in that whole project is only to do the mining portion, is to go there and do the mining and then take the material, the gold itself or whatever the material that has gold, put it on the crusher, and then from there it's their responsibility. So my job might be maybe drilling for them, blasting for them, loading whatever material, put it there. Then from there they process and do whatever.
You work for a mining tendering company.
Don't say tendering, it's a contracting company.
Contract baba khuluma ngetender. But to simplify it in the way that I grew to understand what you do, because we have so many assumptions, especially when we've been inside an industry.
Yes.
No, it's the AEC and the CIA and you're like, what does that mean? Business is very basic. It's the buying and selling of goods or services.
That's it.
A mine, and you and I had this conversation on the Virtual Mkuku, which is another platform we had where you broke down mining. And by the way, kudos for that, because I think we did over 30,000 views.
31,000 in 12 days.
There was an issue with the video, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
A lot of people loved listening to you.
Yeah.
Mining is when you're trying to dig or get or acquire natural resources and commodities. Whether it's underground, on the surface, it doesn't matter. Someone can own the land, someone can own the rights to mine, and then once you have the land or the mining rights, you don't necessarily have to do the work. It's like owning a government. You don't have to do the work. You can outsource it to entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And in that business, there are mining companies who maybe do the digging, some may be doing the processing, some may be doing the etc., etc.
Yes.
And you guys are a mining contracting company.
Yes.
Which basically gets contracts, tenders.
So we do a portion of the scope, not the whole scope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were in West Africa and Guinea working for this company and you were turning down promotions. No,
you know, the problem with most people is that they accept things even if they just for money or a different position.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't do that. So I guard against my happiness a lot because that's what keeps me sane. So I do things that make me happy. So sometimes I stumble and do things that make me unhappy, but I'm super self-aware. So I turn around quickly and stop doing those things. So when you get called to say they're promoting you, so the first thing that happens is that you become excited.
Of course.
So for me, I didn't become excited. I asked to do what?
Why were you not excited?
Why should I be excited?
It's a promotion, obviously.
Self-awareness is key, bro.
Please explain what that means.
So you need to be self-aware. What is it that you are capable of doing and what is it that you're not capable of doing? And you need to be self-aware to say, if I get into this role, will I be able to add value? Because whatever that we do in life, we need to add value. If you don't add value, then you the breath that runs through you, it's not worth the body that carries it.
Cheers.
Because you need to add value as a human being, naturally. You need to know who you are.
You're a waste of space and a leech. I'm going to say it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are. Because, if I'm your friend, we need to add value to each other. And a lot of people, they think value is money. And value it's not money. There's a whole lot more ways to add value than giving someone money. I can add value. A friend of mine, a few days ago, we were sitting at the neighborhood. He was like to me, Slim, you know what? I've got problems and you're the only person that I can talk to. And I've got these issues and. So in his life, he knows the person that he can offload to and won't be judged for offloading the way he's going to offload. It's me. So he would come to me and he'll offload. I would listen and I'll give my opinion. And when he left, he was quite light.
Sure.
So I add value to his life that way. He's got money. I add value to his life that way. So same with work. Why do you want to accept things? People accept promotions even if they know that they're not competent to do the job that they're getting promoted. It's wrong. We should not be like that. How will we move society forward?
But why are you so different? I know your background.
Yeah.
Why are you so different? Why are you so self-aware? Why do you do things that make you happy? Why are you so obsessed with people adding value? Why can't you just chase money like everyone else?
Look,
where's home?
It's in the Eastern Cape. It's Sterkspruit.
Sure.
I grew up as Zahara, the village, and I came to Joburg to further my studies. But you know, the reason why I'm different. So where I started and my background, it's completely, like in the village. Yeah, very few kids there. They've got actually hope that there can be things because there's very few happening around them. That is sort of giving hope.
Yeah.
So I grew up in that environment. However, I was quite curious, because I asked myself, we're struggling at home, but that family there is not struggling, but they're living a little bit better than us. Why? Then I found out that no, the dad or the mother, took a different route in life, and this is what they've done and whatever. So it's just an overview. I'm a kid. That one, why is that family completely far below us? And they're really, really struggling. And I realized that someone in the family in the beginning took a different route. And it landed them there. So what I normally do is that I took all those things. As I grow up, I took all those things, and I was extremely competitive with myself. I remember I used to listen to, those stories that play on radio, Mhlobo Wenene.
Sure.
I used to listen to, there's a story, Udlipino Mosquito. I used to love it. So it's these two guys, the dialogue type of a story. And I remember I was so interested in the person that wrote the story, not what I was hearing. Who is this brilliant mind that wrote this story? And that's when I wrote my first ever novel. I don't even know where it is. So I wrote something completely different, but it was inspired by that. So I grew up being very curious about my surroundings and how do I get better. When I came to Joburg, it just became explosive because there's just so many possibilities. You meet a whole lot of people, you get surprised. Why are these people suffering and they live in an environment like this? I mean, there's almost everything here.
Yeah.
And I come from this. I couldn't even speak English, because when they teach you at school in English, they teach you in Xhosa.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So when I came to Joburg, I was like, there's so much opportunities around me. How do I get into them? So what I've done is that, so I started now researching more. When I say researching, not going to the library, but researching in terms of talking to people that have made it. Watching how other people are doing it. So the most important thing, the turnaround for me was when I started working on my psyche. So I started working on the way I think. How can I declutter my mind? How can I have a mental strength? If Penuel comes and says that you're ugly, how do I get to a point where I don't care? That doesn't affect me. Like, seriously, it doesn't affect me. Because a lot of people care. If you come and say, but Ntwana, it's not the one. So people get, so I couldn't give a shit. I don't care about those things. I don't care what
do you think sparked that? What do you think sparked the journey towards understanding your own mind and
because I knew for you to be successful and for you to be a better person and for you to be you, you need to listen to yourself more.
This was from reading books, studying successful people?
Studying successful people to see that these guys, because successful people, there's someone, especially blacks, this guy, unenyoga, or he's a witch, or he's using muti, or that's why you're successful. You can't just be successful because you worked hard for it. So for me, I decided that, and that is a mental sickness for us to think if someone else is successful, Muti was using this and that.
Sure.
And I think a lot of black people, they put too much power in things that don't make sense. Do
you think that's part of the weakness of the black African person?
100%. You put power over a monkey. You put power over a plant.
Yeah.
That this plant, it's sort of protecting my life.
Yeah.
So I've declared my mind completely when it comes to things. I don't believe in rubbish like that.
Where does true power come from for you?
True power comes from within. True power comes from believing in myself. I don't believe in anything else besides myself.
What? What does that mean?
It means that there's nothing else outside me that makes me the person that I am besides me, what's in me.
Obviously, you believe in God and the ancestors.
I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the ancestors. I don't even believe that Jesus Christ existed. I believe in myself. I grew up at church, for that matter. I grew up, my mother, up until today, my mother, she's like a strong church person. Every time we have these arguments, it's like, Mtanam, I pray for you, I pray for you every day. You think when everything else that you have, it's because of you. It's not because of you. It's because of God and Jesus Christ.
Of course.
Fuck that. It's because of me. I work hard for it. Jesus Christ didn't get into the plane and go to Guinea and work.
You are your own God.
You can put it that way. I'm myself. You know, I don't need anything else outside me to affect the way I think, besides me consuming. For example, if you come and you're having a good conversation, and I see that, you know, what Penuel is talking to me about, you know, it sits well with me. I go back and I analyze it, and I use some of those things. You know, I listen to a lot of, I would say, powerful people when they talk, when they speak, people that are owning their own minds. A lot of us don't own our minds.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. If your mother comes and says, you're stupid and you'll never make it in life, people believe that. Like for me, when I grew up with my brothers, three of us at home. My mother used to say, the younger one, Umtetelel would be a doctor, and Umtunzi would be a lawyer, and I had no title. So, but you know, then I realized that as I grew up, if things like that affected me, you know, of course, as a kid, it will affect you because you feel. But as I grew up, I realized, no, man, that should not affect me. In fact, I should do so well that it's on her face every day.
Do you think that might have inspired you to push harder than normal?
A lot of things have inspired me to push, because a lot of people, when I grew up, they thought I'm nobody.
Yeah.
And I think I'm grateful that they thought I'm nobody. Because if they thought I was someone else, probably I wouldn't be here. I was not smart at school. I think I failed more at school than I don't even know how I went from class to class.
Sure.
I mean, I remember the classic one is that in standard 9, grade 11, I actually failed maths. I think I got like 33 or 30%. I can't remember. And I remember this teacher came to me and says, "You know what, Sia? I think maths and physics are not for you. And I think that you should study geography, history, and I hated theory because I hated reading, because I didn't come from an environment of reading. So, so I remember this. I was so frustrated because I knew my mother was going to be pissed off if I go change. And I also wanted to be an engineer. So I can't be an engineer with history.
Of course.
Or geography or whatever. So I'm thinking, and I'm not passing this maths thing. And this physics thing. It's just too complicated for me. And so I decided that, you know what? So I went to the principal to beg the principal, listen here, dude, I promise you, metric, I'm going to. The guy said, there's no way you'll pass. I've been doing this thing for 20 years here. It's impossible for you to pass. Then I said, please give me an opportunity. So the guy says, okay, cool. Give you an opportunity to go to metric. So I went to metric. When I got to metric, I remember, so there was a maths book, thick maths book. I think it was 800 and something pages. I took that whole book. I went from page 1 up until the last page. I did every sum in that book. Even if I get it wrong, I'll do it until I get it right. Every sum in that book. And I started enjoying it. Then I realized that routine helps.
Yes.
A lot. So I did it so many times. Then I started doing study guides. The ones that have answers at the back, I started doing a lot of those repetitively throughout the year. I was top 5 maths at that school.
Do you think you're driven by adversity? Do you think you're driven by, you've mentioned your older brother, your younger brother had titles, you didn't. And you almost wanted to prove to your mom.
I think I am.
You've explained that you come from a bad background, and when you got to Joburg, you were just like, it can't be. You're speaking now about a principal who said it's impossible for you to do well, and you're like, it doesn't. It's almost like you love the idea of being challenged.
I love the idea of failure.
What does that mean?
I love to fail. I don't mind failing. I love to fail. The more, if I'm a student of life, the more I fail, the more I get pumped. I love to fail. I don't care about success. Is just a cream on top, but I just love to fail, because if I become successful all the time, then for me there's no use of living. Why must I live if I'm going to be successful in everything I do?
People need struggle in life. You
have to struggle in life. You have to, because as soon as you overcome something, you get a sense of joy in you. You know,
there can never be joy without struggle.
There can never be joy without struggle.
Or overcoming struggle.
That is why if you go steal a lot of money, you end up being nobody. In most cases, it can take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever.
I blew it.
Yeah, you can something that comes easy. It's a problem. Human nature and human beings don't like easy stuff. But I know a lot of people want things to come easy.
Of course.
I work very hard. I wake up very early. I sleep late. I've got my program is just a mess, but I love it because I live in chaos, and I love to live in chaos. And I collapse a lot in that chaos, but you'll never see, because collapsing doesn't mean that it's an end of the day for me. Collapsing means that, boy, you need to learn something else. You've learned something new through this process. Next time you better do it better. Then I become happy. So then I move forward. And I don't care about being judged. If I do something and it collapses, and there's a lot of people that are around me that were waiting for that moment, and they celebrate, I couldn't give a shit. I was not doing it for them. I was doing it for me. I was doing it for me. So if I can tell you now, if you don't work on your mental strength, you work on your mental strength, you feed your mental strength with, you become more optimistic, you read, you consume positive information, you try, every day you must try to do something new. I know sometimes it sounds impossible, but you can. If it's not every day, at least every week or every month. People live from year to year never trying anything because they want to live a safe life. You can't live a safe life. You cannot live a safe life. Otherwise, you must just sit in the corner, we'll feed you, we'll give you blankets and make sure there's no rain, there's no wind, there's nothing, you just sit there. That's a safe life. I mean,
but it's not a life.
It's not a life.
Yeah.
Being born, it's risky. Yeah. Eating food, it's risky. Drinking this water, it's risky. Everything else, going out here, driving back home or to the office, it's risky. Waking up in the morning is risky. How much more you want to be safe? The best thing that you can ever do is pursue your dreams, pursue what sits in you, and go do it. It doesn't matter if it's impossible to me. That is why it's a dream. It's for you. You can only see it in your own mind. I can't see what you see. So I'm glad I went through that process. It took me 5 years, bro. It's not a small time. It's not like you can wake up tomorrow, you listen to this, says, but I think, then you wake up tomorrow and you can't. It's a process. For me, it took me 5 years, maybe because I'm slow. Other people can take them maybe a year or two, but you need to work on your mental strength. You have to. So that when storms come.
And they will come, boy.
And they will, that is a promise of life. Storms will come. So when they come, you must be mentally strong to deal with those storms. And your life cannot just be smooth. A lot of people think that, I'm a lawyer, someone is bewitching me. You bewitching yourself. A lot of people are bewitching themselves. A lot of people are bewitching themselves because they refuse to uplift and upgrade themselves. They refused completely. I didn't believe that for a very long time until a whole lot of people around me, I started seeing, for sure, this person literally is refusing to uplift himself or herself. So I've been very fortunate that early in my life, I managed to deal with such things. To deal with my mind, to deal with failure, that I become excited if I fail. To deal with not being liked. You know, a lot of people love to be liked.
Yes.
A lot of people love to be loved. You know, I couldn't give a shit.
We call them people pleasers.
Yeah, I couldn't give a shit whether you love me or not. I love myself more. And I don't want anyone else to love me if they don't love themselves.
Yeah.
I don't want that. Because there's something wrong with upstairs. If you're going to say, I love you more than anything, you must run away if people tell you, I love you more than anything. Because that anything includes themselves.
Yeah.
So you need to love yourself more before you love others. Because then you'll start learning what love is.
I'm fascinated that you mentioned that you didn't like reading. And because I know you wake up every morning, I believe at 5, and you read. If it's not current affairs, you read books that empower you. So that's quite special. One of the lessons that I take out from that is life is not one continuous thing. It's different chapters.
Yes.
The fact that you weren't doing well at school at that point doesn't mean you are in jail for life. The fact that you didn't like reading at some point doesn't mean, I knew since I was 10 years old, I don't like reading.
Yeah.
You didn't like reading when you were 10. There's nothing wrong with liking reading when you're 20. You're not a sellout.
And maybe you didn't like reading when you were 10 because of your environment was not allowing you to like reading.
Yes.
So a lot of people suppress their talents because they take a snapshot of who they were back then.
Yes.
Instead of becoming students of life. If you're a student of life, you evolve all the time.
I've heard that people that are going to succeed in the future are people that have the ability to unlearn what they've learned and then relearn something new.
Yes.
And if you can learn to do that very quickly, sell a phone, get rid of the phone, get a cell phone. We're not using cell phones now, we're using some other technology.
Yes.
The people that can do that very quickly
yes.
and be like, I used to be able to not like reading. Now I love reading. I don't read anymore. I listen to audiobooks.
Yes.
I don't listen to audiobooks. I do this. And I think that's key. When you were speaking about a friend of yours that came to you for advice and you were like, your friend has a lot of money, so they're not coming to you for money. There's some value you add in their life. I'd like to think that's what I bring to your life.
A lot.
Because I know you have money.
I don't have money. That's what people think.
I know you have money, which I don't, shame. But I'd like to think I add value in your life.
You do. You do a lot.
Why do you think we hit it off so quickly? We were introduced by a good friend of ours, Lungi Sachele, who's actually, and I can say this, he's a construction mogul. Yeah. You know, he's a mogul. He's a relatively young black African guy.
He has a lot of money.
He's got a big company which makes millions a year.
Yeah.
But he's an amazing human being. He's a giant.
He is.
Over 2 meters. But I got to know him from rugby circles, etc. And he was like, you have to meet a good friend of mine who's slim. And I was like, whatever. You and I spoke over text at some point. I think you were still in West Africa at the time. Yes. And I was looking for a place for a friend. And you're like, no, you can go and stay at my house. You know, there's a celebrity guy who stays there. I'm like, this sounds very dodgy. I'm not interested. Then you came back.
I remember that.
You came back. You were hosting a braai. You're always braaiing every weekend. Come through. I'm like, this weird guy. I get there. I meet this chubby guy with a funny hairstyle.
Yeah.
And I think after that day, we hit it off. And we've hit it off since. Why do you think you and I vibe so well?
I think what I've realized that when I met you is that you're not similar to me, but you're an interesting character for me because you are a very honest, but like seriously honest, and a whole lot of people around you, if they're not strong enough, they will fall off because you've never told me something just to please me.
Yeah.
And I like that because a lot of people that are around me, they would like to say things to please me, which I don't actually like because for me it's insulting. Because I can see that, because I'm self-aware, I can see,
sure.
Because I talk to myself more.
Mangit we slander.
Yeah, I want to slander. You're looking so thin. Yeah, you're looking so thin. When you tell me all the time, hey, you better start gymming, but you're fat. Just like that, I like that because it means you care, because you're not lying. You care about my health. You care about myself, you know. And I really like that about you, that the more I talk to you, I'm like, where does this guy come from? You know? And I've learned a lot. I've evolved since I've met you, you know, to say, you know what? People like Penuel, when you meet them, you must become, even if you think you know, you must become a student, because they're special in their own right. They're very special in what they do and what they say to people. And if you become a student, quickly you'll become better, regardless whether you think you know or not. Rather listen and go analyze when you're sitting alone. Because the other thing is that, Pen, if you tell me something, I take it very serious. I go analyze it. Whether immediately when you were telling me I disagree with it or agree with it, but I take it, I go analyze it. Because I've realized that I've disagreed with a whole lot of other things when you were saying them. But the more I sit down and really think about them and apply myself, I realize, no, but this guy's got a point. This guy's got a point. And since from then, everything you say, I would say, okay, I think Penuel, but okay, let me go think about this. Maybe it's got a point. Let me go check. So I think we clicked because somehow the mind that you have is such a precious mind. And I really like that.
Two things, I think. The first one is I know you struggle with compliments like me. I struggle. I could have told you to shut up now, but since we're being filmed, unfortunately, I have to let you keep speaking. You struggle with compliments a lot because the way you're speaking about me is the way a lot of people speak about you. And you have so many layers. You know, I don't even know if we're going to cover all of them today, but we can touch on some of them. People don't know how powerful your mind is, how much knowledge and information you have. People sometimes meet you, and they just think you're a guy with money, is having a good time. They don't know how perceptive and analytical you are, how much information you crunch, how many people you know and have access to. You've written 2 books. I'd like you to please speak about your books, and I'd like you to answer why you struggle with compliments.
So you want me to start with compliments?
Start with the compliments and then please speak about your book. Because you're an author as well. You mentioned it briefly that you had a novel, but you've written books, and I want you to speak about how successful those books are.
So
compliments.
I struggle with them because I don't want to view myself or see myself as someone who's doing well or successful or whatever, because I feel that will limit me.
Is it in the same breath as what you said about success is just a byproduct?
Yeah, for me.
You like the struggles and the
because I'm not chasing that. That's not the end goal, to get compliments or to be complimented or whatever. That's not the end goal for me,
compliments and success make you feel like, no.
Like you've arrived. You don't have to do anything else. So for me,
they can weaken you.
They will weaken you.
If you enjoy them.
If you enjoy them.
Hey, say nice things about me.
Because if people don't say nice things about you, then what? Do you fall? So whether you say yes, you've got, I know it's not a nice hairstyle, but I don't have any other example. You've got a nice hairstyle. It's that in me, it sits exactly the same as someone says that your hairstyle is ugly. It doesn't move me. Not at all.
That's why you struggle with compliments.
Yeah.
You feel like they don't help you build.
No.
You prefer...
They don't add value to my life.
You prefer constructive criticism to compliments.
I want someone to come and say you're an idiot. Then I say, okay, cool, let me go check why is this person saying I'm an idiot. And not that I care about your view, but I care about myself.
Yeah.
And because I'm a student of life, I like to learn all the time. So and then I would learn.
Okay.
So with regards to my books, I wrote the first book, Before You Get Married. And I wrote it a couple of years ago, and it took me like 7 years to write it. And because the subject of marriage was like fascinating to me. And I wanted to research and talk to people that are married and people that aspire to get married. And luckily, I traveled and I spoke to all different types of people.
What does traveled mean? So
when I was writing that book, so I used to go like on road trips around South Africa, every town. I don't book hotels. I just get there, I go to a house and they ask for a place to sleep, and then they're welcoming and they chill there, and then I start asking questions in the process, So I've learned a lot based on that, because it's raw. They don't know me, so I can't judge them. So they just talk to me, and I managed to travel to West African countries. I've been to not West Africa, African countries. I've been to now I think 27 African countries.
African countries.
Yeah, and then
on work mostly.
Work mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that was quite an interesting subject, and I wrote the book. And the book did well. I mean, I only wanted to sell, I think, 100 books, if I remember well, because that's what I printed. I said, if I sell these 100 books, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I sold those 100 books in 2 days.
Jeez. Well done.
And
compliment.
So I saw what you did there. So I sold those books, and I thought to myself, no man, people are interested in this thing. So I printed more, gone. I printed more, gone. Then I printed 1,000, gone. Then I printed, and I think I stopped printing when between 4,000 and 5,000. Then I stopped printing because I decided, no, it's fine. I wanted 100, so I'm happy. So then I wrote the second book, From Rags to Freedom of Life. That was mostly inspired by me, by my life and what I've seen. Not only my life. Actually, the book itself is probably like 30% my life. It's more 70%. It's what I've learned in life. The people that I've met, the people that I admire. The information that I've consumed over time. Things that I think they add value to people's lives, and if people use them and apply them in their lives, definitely something will change in their lives. So I've done that. So I became slowly but surely better as I read that book. That book took me, I think, 2 years, to write it, and it was released 2020 during COVID, 2020, 1st of July.
Yeah.
And that first quarter, July, so, it's on Takealot. So July, August, September, it was the bestseller on Takealot.
On Takealot.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So
that doesn't make you feel some type of way?
No.
As a person that struggles with compliments, knowing there are people there who are being inspired and changed by your story. Because it's a life-changing story. I read it on a flight.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's about your story. But for you, it's like, I fell. Yeah. And then you write a long piece on what you learned from the falling and why falling is whatever.
And why falling is good.
Yeah.
Why for you falling is good. But you must fail.
But how does that make you feel knowing your books are bestsellers on Takealot, even to this day? Because they're life-changing, and I'm hoping people will interrogate them. I know at some point on Twitter you were trending for Rags to Freedom of Life.
Yeah.
Because it's a powerful story. Some of the stuff that you speak about there is very touching. And this is why I'm speaking about layers, because I don't want to go into the book.
Yeah.
We'll end up discussing the book only. Yeah. Some very emotional stories in there.
Yeah.
You could have literally become a motivational speaker and not even a mining engineer. Never mind the other things we could still speak about.
Yeah. True. I think Pen, I'm glad, that book did what it did, because the intention was for the book to change people's lives. Yeah. The intention was for the book to add value in people's lives. And if it did that, then my goal of writing the book is it's accomplished.
Yeah.
So and when you write a book, writing a book, I know you're an author as well, it's not easy. And it depends though on the topic. Some people can write a book in a week. Depending their state of mind, and they can write a very powerful book in a week.
Yeah.
There's if I can just sort of match it with artists. Some artists can record an album in a week and it becomes the bestseller. Pitch Black Afro, Styling Gel was recorded in 7 days, and it was the bestseller. Some people record for a year.
It was the highest selling hip hop album of the time. I think it was the first hip hop album to go platinum in this country.
Some people record for a year, and then it never sees the day. Yeah. So I think if people would still like to read my books, they can go and take a look and get my books, or they can get them from me. I think they're quite life-changing books.
I'm glad you mentioned the music thing, because I was going to touch on the music. I think you've met Pitch Black at some point. You've got a record label.
Yeah.
This is now another layer. Yeah. And I think the biggest artists you signed were an amazing hip-hop outfit from Cape Town called 3 Months Cup. How has your journey been as a... This is what it's called now officially, as a record label exec. You have your own record label, CIA Music.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Again, these are layers, right?
Yeah.
We've only touched on the mining and mining engineering.
Yes.
We've just touched on you being a writer. Now, music. Where does that fit in?
So Pen, I want to start like this. So
Sure.
yesterday, at work, I told you that we've got this life coach that comes through and coach all of us. And so yesterday was my individual session.
That's a beautiful thing. I just want to stop there. It's a beautiful thing that your company assigns someone to spend time with you guys, especially in a high stressful environment.
Yes.
To just make sure that you guys are fine, any struggles you may have.
So while we were talking, and yesterday's session was actually very funny. It was not formal, or it was like we started talking about something completely different, me and her. And she was like to me, Sia, tell me, why are you so different from the group of people that I'm coaching? It's like you're a different human being. I don't understand. Maybe let's talk about that today. And what she said to me is that I might not know, but I've got something very special in me that I need to make sure that it overflows to the people that I work with. And she also asked me that, so she was talking about work. She says, I can see that you are very casual. So I said to her, no, you know what? When I leave here, I'm not the person that I am at work. I become I am myself when I'm at work, but I don't think about work. I do completely different opposite things. I go do music if I'm doing music with whoever, or listen or sit in a session, or I go do whatever crazy stuff that I do with my friends. But I don't box myself, Pen. I don't box myself to say, just because I've got this position at work, this is how I need to behave at home, this is how I need to behave with my friends, this is how I need to behave. That should not change your behavior, otherwise you're weak.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you're not dead, then you hang yourself.
Yeah.
Then they say, no, depression is real, whatever. But people cause problems for themselves.
You're saying depression is not real? Sorry, I know we still speak about the record label.
Yeah.
Are you saying depression is not real?
Can I touch the record label? I'll come, I promise.
No problem.
Okay. So the record label thing, so I started it many years ago, and it was just a passion to have a record label. It's one of the things that I wanted to do in life. I didn't know how to run a record label. I didn't know how it feels like. I didn't know what to do, but I thought to myself, if it's not, it doesn't require millions and millions and millions and millions of rand, I can just have it.
Yeah.
Then I decided to do it. And that's the thing about me. I take chances. So I decided to do it for me.
Yeah. But you're also exposing now that you've actually got money, because we're adding layers now. But please carry on.
I don't have money. So I had a record label. So I signed a couple of guys before Tremans Cup. So the Tremans Cup guys came through. And when they came through, like very talented guys, very, very talented. And I think they've done extremely well for themselves. So they came through, and I was very appreciative that, they could come to my record label and, to make it what it became when they came, and I really appreciate that. So, but it was a journey for me. I've learned a lot throughout that journey. I've learned that, when I was running that record label myself, I wanted to run it myself, number one, big mistake.
Okay.
Number two, I was in West Africa, far away. I used to come every third month. Number three, communication is key when you do things like that. Forget about the contract. Communication is key, and treating each other like human beings is key. So I've learned a lot during that journey. For me, there's a lot of mistakes I've made myself, and those mistakes, I'm glad I've made them because they've made me a better person. So if tomorrow, I know you've been wanting to reactivate the record label. If the record label gets reactivated tomorrow, I would not use a single thing that I've used when I started it.
Yeah. Because
I need to evolve with time. So I would use different stuff to make it work. I would use a different approach to make it work.
So it's currently on pause.
It's currently on pause. It's not like it's finished, but it's currently on pause.
But you have studio
I still have studio. I've got all the equipment and stuff is still there.
So people that want to hire or move in,
I've been asking you to come and record.
Don't expose me on the mic. Give me a beat. Don't expose me on the mic.
Yeah.
Before you answer that depression question, this might be unfair and sneaky. We've had Mabala Noise, TS Records, Ambitious Records.
Yeah.
DJ Sbu and I have a relationship because we do sessions on the virtual Mkuku. I've asked him. He's answered quite in depth. I obviously don't know Reggie that were at Mabala Noise. There were rumors of money laundering and things there. And then Ambitious is Ukhosi, I think.
Jose Humapilo.
Yeah, the brother of Supra, who was the premier of the Northwest.
Yeah.
Your opinion, why do you think record labels fail in this country? Why are there so many people complaining? You introduced me to Emtee as an example. If you look at Ambitious and the talent they've lost and the talent they keep losing, as someone who had a record label is looking to reactivate it, what do you think record labels are doing wrong in this country?
First of all, I think it's greed. So look, I'm not saying that record labels are wrong initially when they sign you. So if you get signed by Ambitious, you have nothing, you're nobody. Josi or his company needs to invest in you. They need to invest a lot of money. So for example, if we take an example of Emtee, so when Emtee came through to Ambitious, Josi had to invest over 250,000, on the guy.
Yeah, as a nobody.
Yeah, as a nobody.
Yeah.
He's a nobody. He might have had Roll Up 5 years before he went to Ambitious.
Yeah. But
Roll Up never popped. 5 years before, that's a good example actually.
Yeah.
But when he went to Ambitious and Josi listened to that, he says, this is gonna be the best song ever. And took the guy, invested. He took a chance.
Yeah.
And the guy became huge. But they had a contract initially. Say, for example, Josi said, I'll pay you a salary of 20,000 a month. Regardless of whether you sell records or not. But I'll pay you.
It's a gamble.
It's a huge gamble.
Of his pocket.
Of his pocket.
Yeah.
So I want to start by saying that. However,
who's greedy, you're saying?
No, I'm coming.
Okay.
So, however, then Emtee gets to a point whereby, and I know Emtee because he's a very humble guy. So Emtee gets to a point whereby he realizes, no man, yes, we agreed on 20 grand. Obviously, maybe it increased over time or whatever, but we agreed on 20 grand. But if it's December, then I perform, and during that time alone, I make 1.5 million. Come on, dude. Regardless whether we agreed or not, you must be a human being as well. You must be humane enough to be able to say, you know what, you did extremely well. Yeah. Here's 500,000 or whatever the case might be. I understand that there's a whole lot of costs for Josi.
Yeah.
So, I understand that.
And he might want to invest in other artists.
Yes,
and
using that money.
Yeah.
But it's not fair to the artist, that you have. At some point when someone really brings you so much money, you need to create an environment of partnership.
Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Great man.
Create an environment of partnership. See how this guy can make more money within the company outside his music. Or partner with him with music that he makes. Because you've made your investment back, Mos, that you've invested initially. You've made maybe 100 times more. So partner with the guy. Keep him more. So I think for me it's greed. I think it's greed from the record label side.
Yeah.
They started well, but then they become too greedy.
Yeah.
I understand there's artists that they take and they collapse and fail and never bring a single cent, but that cannot be Emtee's problem in this case, as an example. That cannot be my problem if I'm an artist that went there and then I became successful. So it cannot be greed. It's a problem in this country. It's a huge problem
of record label owners.
Of record label owners. Yeah, it's a huge problem.
Not the artists.
Not the artist. Not the artist. Because the artist, if you're desperate, look at Ntaba said Dubai. The guy was desperate. He came through. He knows he's talented. He came through. Josi took a chance and brought the guy in, and they agreed that this is how much I'll pay you.
Yeah.
And then Ntaba became too big, and Josi stuck to the agreement.
Are you a hardcore capitalist?
I wouldn't say hardcore, but I am.
You love money. You believe in making money.
I believe in making money. I don't know about love, but I believe in making money, because loving money and believing in making money is two different things. Loving money, it means that I am prepared to kill you to make money.
Okay.
So I don't love money. I want to work hard to make money.
I asked this because you mentioned being humane.
Yeah.
In a situation where there are contracts. And you started off by speaking about taking a risk and gambling. So I take a risk, I gamble, I sign a contract. I invest in Facebook when it's worth R1 million. And I put in 500,000 to buy 50%. And then it becomes $1 billion business. And then the Facebook guys are like, be humane. Give us some back. And I'm like, that's not what I signed up for. We agreed, but we were desperate students. I understand, and that's exactly why I got into business with you, because I saw potential. Is the contract not good enough? Why must we consider humanity in a situation where I've taken a gamble and I want the entire upside? The fact that you booked a lot may be in the contract. If it's not in the contract, I understand. But why must I be humane, number one? And then number two, this is not to any artist, but I heard motherfuckers say they made Hove. Made Hove say, okay, so make another Hove. If you are so good, and clearly you don't need me, Fundi Vundla generations. You don't need me, Khosi and ambitious. Do it. Show me that you can build yourself into what I could build you into.
So for me, what I would advise artists, I'm taking it from what you've just said, is that you need to go to a record label. Even if they pay you peanuts, it's good. But the goal should not be money. The goal, because if you're an artist, all you need is to be well known, have numbers behind you, people that are going to buy your music or people that are going to come to your shows. It's not just going to happen overnight. It's going to happen because you are a known somebody, and to be a known somebody, there needs to be money thrown at you in most cases. So go there, be very known, be huge. At some point, then you just go do your own thing.
Because you're like an intern. Intern gets paid peanuts to get that platform.
That's it. So for me, these guys, so that's why I don't want to say this side is wrong, that side is wrong, but greed should not be there. If you sign a contract, we live by the contract. Up to a certain, personally, the human part, up to a certain point. And then at that point in time, you must be able to say, okay, cool. You've done so well with me. I think now I'm willing, if I was giving you 10% of everything after cost, I think I'm willing to give you 30 because I've made my own money. I've made everything and I still want to keep you because you
are talented
and you make me money. Yes. Now if I leave completely because I'm unhappy, then you've lost everything. You've lost the 70% after cost. So you've been greedy and stupid. But that's what money does sometimes to people, especially if you love it. You are willing to do anything for money. You are willing, even if it's stupid, you are willing to do it.
Do you think there's sabotage? There's been accusations of Lonster, Ghetto Rough, where Abo Bongani Fasi and the guys of Josie never popped after them.
Yeah.
And with Uzola 7, there were rumors that he was blocking many things that he wanted to do afterwards.
That's cruel.
There's obviously speaks of payola, bribes to play music. Do you think some of these record labels, after an artist has left, intentionally sabotage that no one books them? I don't know what's happened to Fifi Cooper. I don't know if Reese has ever become what he believed that he should be. Aifani, Emtee now, Java, maybe even a Zahara. Where I could argue, but Zahara, if you're that talented, make a new album. Let another record label find you. Because you're that talented. Why are you struggling? Do you think they are struggling because maybe they're not as great as they thought they could be, number one? Number two, maybe the music business is not as easy as people think they are. Talent is not enough. Or do you think it's sabotage?
Talent is not enough. And it's not as easy as people think it is. Why? Because when you, like an ambitious, I'm not going to talk about me because mine was small.
Yeah.
But if you're an ambitious, it's a company. There's a whole lot of people that are hired around you that are making it happen for you. Yeah. Sometimes you don't even know where you're performing this weekend. You just get told, okay, Friday you'll be in Carnival City, at Carnival City performing 7 o'clock, but by 9 o'clock you should be done because we're driving to Limpopo, you're going to perform at Zanini, and then by 2 a.m. you need to come back to Joburg because there's a show that ends at 6 a.m. but you are booked for 2 a.m. You do not know, but there's people that know. There's people that make sure that the car is there to pick you up and drive you to the gigs. There's people that communicate with everyone else to make sure that you are booked.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of, it's a huge thing around you that you don't even know about because it's not your job to know about. Your job.
You don't know who shot the music video, how much it cost,
how much it costs.
catering.
Nothing. All you want, you want to make sure that when you shoot a music video, everything must be perfect.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're doing it for yourself and you start realizing that catering alone when you're shooting a music video is 15, 20K and the music video is 50K, and to have someone that needs to make sure that your bookings, you don't skip them, you don't forget them, you get the money paid, and then someone is doing your books, and then you realize that for me to be able to run this thing per month, I need about 300,000-400,000. Then what do? You're gonna cut corners. You're gonna say, no, I'm Zahara, I'm known. So why must I go get all this? I don't need these people. I can do it myself. Then you create a Gmail, Zahara at gmail.com. Then you want people to send you emails there or you go to Twitter for bookings, Zahara at gmail.com.
Yeah, it's not enough.
You're not going to be even to be able to read those emails. It's probably thousands of them that are there because you put in, some people are just asking you for money, some are sending for this, some are doing this. So you will miss opportunities. You can't even read them. It's not practical.
The music business is hard.
The music business, that's why not everybody does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people leave.
And it's sad.
You said depression is not real.
No, don't put it so rough. So all I'm saying is that, Pen, is that depression starts somewhere. It's not like a natural thing that appears out of thin air. Right or wrong?
I'm listening to you.
Okay. So it doesn't appear from thin air. It starts from somewhere. According to me, that somewhere is if you care about what other people think, guaranteed at some point in your life you're going to be depressed and you're going to have a lot of anxiety. That's number one. Number two, if you do not believe in your capabilities on yourself, and at some point you find out how powerful of a being you are, you're going to have problems. If you rely on your surrounding, on the people that you live with, you're going to have serious problems in your life, generally. And if you are a guy that wants to be complimented all the time, and that gives you drive, you are bound to have anxiety and depression because nothing good is going to come out of you. Yeah. Because every time you do something, you need a compliment. You need someone to come and say, to verify that, say, hey, dude, you did well here. You were shit here. Whatever the case. I couldn't care. So caring a lot as well about everything, it's a problem. People care too much. People care that, no, this guy is wearing socks that don't match. And that thing goes to your heart and you feel pain. The whole day, your day is miserable. I mean, you've got limited time in a day. You don't even know when you're going to die. And you're worried about nonsense. You don't even know. I might be having your whistle.
Hey.
I can blow it any time. Someone else has got my whistle. I don't know who. And my whistle can be blown anytime. And I would be gone. And I would be forgotten. So rather than you spending a lot of time, because people that are depressed, they spend a lot of time in their heads.
You don't spend a lot of time in your head?
But differently. I spend a lot of time in my head upgrading, uplifting myself, becoming more optimistic, becoming a better human being. I spend that time. I don't spend time in my head thinking of rubbish. Bangzonda, they don't like me, and I don't have money, I'm broke. Life is not fair. My mother, she was not a good woman. My father, I couldn't give a shit.
You're saying
I'm here, I'm alive.
Depression and anxiety is self-inflicted.
It is. It doesn't come from thin air. It does not. I don't care who says what. It does not. You don't breathe it. You don't go outside here and by chance there's a storm of depression and you breathe depression. It doesn't come. It comes from something triggers that. Something triggers that, and caring too much about the outside world than the inside world in you will definitely trigger depression. Guaranteed.
Speak about illnesses and getting things from outside. You never get sick. Why not?
I don't get sick because...
You never get sick?
I don't get sick. The only time first time ever in my life being in hospital, it was last year when I did my back operation. That's all. And that was physical because I had an accident many years ago. I rolled with the car and I didn't realize that it affected my spine. and over a period of time, then I realized that I'm struggling even to walk.
Yeah.
And I decided, no, let me just go and do it and deal with it. So,
why do you never get sick?
Because one, I consume herbs, and I try to eat healthy, and I drink a lot of water. And
what are herbs? That sounds like umuthi. So nenyanga oyibonayo.
Nginyanga mina self. Ngiyazinyanga. So the herbs that I consume, it's natural herbs like your hibiscus. I mean, it's a flower. Hibiscus is a flower. You can get it anywhere. You can plant it yourself. I've researched a lot about things that can make you healthy, which is hibiscus is one of them, and it's quite good. It's extremely good. You can go read about it. I also drink this one tea. It's got a very complicated medical name. I don't know the medical name, but it's called Kinkeliba. It's from Mali, Burkina Faso, and I think we can get it in some parts of Guinea. So
you've imported these herbs?
I've imported them.
You didn't buy them locally?
No, I didn't buy them. They're expensive, man. I was checking when we were talking with the coach yesterday. She was so fascinated because she asked me the same question.
Why do you never get sick?
Yeah. So I said to her, no, there's these herbs. And she was so interested. So I said, Google it. Then went check hibiscus. They sell it at discount, but it's super expensive.
Yeah.
It's like 4 or 5 tea bags. It's like 155. I thought it was $80. I checked yesterday. It was 155. Some other Takealot, I think, is $200.
Jeez. So you import them?
I import them, yeah.
Have you considered selling? I know you're a hustler. I
have. So actually, yesterday when I was talking to the lady, I decided, you know what, this thing's actually good. Because she asked me, why don't you sell this thing? And spark something. And I sent my contact WhatsApp, and they're busy organizing me the seeds to come and plant them.
Thank you so much. In the thing of the herbs, I words are dangerous, and I don't like the term herbs because people obviously today it becomes umuti. And normally when you and I speak about it, you call it teas.
It's teas, actually. It's not herbs.
Which is what they drink in China. Because in China, they generally don't get sick because throughout the day, they drink different teas that speak to certain parts of their bodies. The same way we like rooibos, green tea, chai tea. If you drank certain teas throughout the day, you would never get sick. Lemon tea, etc.
I can attest to that because 2017 when I was in China, exactly according to that. And these guys are just amazing with their teas.
You spoke about artists. We spoke about artists, and I was saying you're losing a cash cow. Yes. So renegotiate. Speaking of cash cow, you speak about banks. Yeah. What is a bank to you? And so, what banks do you potentially have?
So what I define as banks for me, it's because a bank is where you go withdraw money.
Yeah.
So if you create your own banks, for example, if you sell this water and you make it, you bottle it, you sell it, that's your bank because you withdraw cash from it. You know, the delta between the cost of making it and the price of selling, that's your profit. That's what you cash in.
That's what you withdraw.
That's what you withdraw. Okay? And for me, my banks at the moment, it's the car wash. I've got a car wash with a partner in Sterkspruit. But it's not like a car wash. It's like a car wash, but with a restaurant and a sports bar and a couple of other stuff. So that's my bank. So I can go withdraw money from there.
Yeah.
I've got trucks.
It's not a small car wash.
It's quite a sophisticated car wash.
Okay.
It's not like your normal, but it's a car wash.
Okay. Sterkspruit.
So that's the one bank. So I go withdraw money there.
Yeah.
Got my salary because I work. permanent employee. So that's my bank, because I go withdraw money that I give them value for 30 days and they give me my money. So
a job is a bank where you would draw money.
A job, it's a bank.
Yeah.
And if you treat your job like a bank, you would start seeing things differently. You won't be frustrated and stressed by going. No, you'd know that this is my bank. In 30 days' time, I'll be getting some cash out of it. Yeah. So that's the second one. So the third one is my trucks. So I withdraw from my trucks as well. I found that that's the most fluid bank for me.
Liquid.
It's liquid. It moves.
Yeah.
It's water. It's good, because initially I thought it was complicated, and I did it without, I take chances. So I put money, I could have lost it, but for me it doesn't matter. It matters for people that saw me putting the money, but not for me. So that's a very good bank for me. The third one. I've also the books, as well. They are my banks. And back at home I bought the Derrick House, and they're also my bank. And it's a potential very liquid bank, that, because it's money every day. I'm sitting now at 200 liters a day
of milk.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That you sell.
And it's sold out every day.
Wow.
10 rand a liter to 2,000 a day.
Why have you not focused on mining? You are a mining engineer. Yeah. I have some kind of an idea. I think we spoke about it on the platform.
Yeah.
Of how much mining engineers at your level, because you're an exec, how much they earn. Why would you not focus your entire energy on just being a mining engineer, maybe having a share portfolio, looking a bit cleaner than you do now, and wearing a suit?
I thought I'm clean today.
Is this you being formal?
Very formal. Very, very formal.
Why did you not focus and zero in on just mining, being a mining engineer, and any business you do must center around mining?
Because that will limit me. That will limit my potential. Mining already. So why must I put all my effort in trying to open a mining business? I don't want to do that. I don't want to limit myself, because I believe that I've got limitless sort of things that I need to do in my life. And there's a lot of value that I still need to add in people's lives. Yeah. Because for every bank that I have, someone else is eating.
Yeah.
It's not only me. Sometimes when you start a bank, you become the only person that doesn't eat. For example, with my dairy cows, I'm the only person that's not eating from that bank. Everybody else I pay. Today people need to get paid. I need to extend money for them to get paid. I don't get a single cent from it now.
Yeah.
Because when I do business, I don't do it for now.
Yeah.
I do it for later. Because that bank, for me, it needs to build another bank. I don't want to have money in my bank account. I don't like having money, because it means nothing. Because why must I have it? To do what? Because money is meant to be used to build banks, according to me. Go build banks with your money. Because the money will come into your bank account, but when it's there, build a bank. Doesn't matter. You don't have to do big things or whatever. It can be anything. It can be you selling a quarter. It can be you doing anything. You don't have to start big. I started by selling sweets at school. No, not even sweets. Sweets was the second bank that I got into. I started selling peaches at school.
Yeah.
And they were laughing at me. And to sell, it's difficult.
It is.
It's super difficult. I wouldn't lie. I sold peaches at school, in primary school. When I went to high school, I sold sweets. I started in primary with the sweets as well, but high school I sold sweets. Then I became a cameraman. I've been in love with creating money. I became a cameraman. From the money of being a cameraman, I went to buy public phones. You remember those Vodacoms and Cell C container phones?
Yes.
But I didn't have a container, but I bought single phones, because they used to sell them individually as well.
Yeah.
I had those. And so there's no need for you to have money in the bank. To do what? Because somehow it's going to be all used and you're going to be left with nothing. And then it becomes super difficult to create banks. So I use my salary to create forget about the sweets, and the peaches started giving me money because they were for free from my mother's yard and my father's yard.
Yeah.
That was for free, and I started selling. The only thing that I had to do was to put effort to sell. Then after I've sold those, then I took the money, I gave it to my mother. My mother bought me sweets because I didn't want to stop selling. Because everybody was bashing me, they were stealing my peaches and sweets, but that was giving me a drive, and I sold sweets. Then I came to Joburg, then I became a cameraman because I can't sell sweets because sweets, it's heaven of sweets and everything. So I decided, no, I didn't know how to use a camera. So I went to buy my first Kodak camera, then, and my parents, by the way, and I think this is important for kids that are growing up, the last time they paid school fees for me, it was in primary. They never paid school fees. They never spent a single cent on me after that. Never. Not a single cent. I managed to stand independently by myself. That's why I believe in myself so much, because I've created so much value for me, standing alone, and being independent, not depending on what. There's like, you put a statement the other day to say that there are 40-year plus infants. It's the truth. There's people that they are old by age, but they are infants. They are kids. They are kids.
Mentally, because they depend on other people.
Because they don't wanna feel pain. People don't wanna feel pain. People don't wanna leave the big houses that their parents have built for them and go stay in Kukwin. I stayed in Kukwin for the longest time we can ever think of. All this time that I was telling you about, up until high school, I was staying in Kukwin. The only time I didn't stay in Kukwini, and the only time I saw a shower in my life, it's when I got the first bursary to go to study. Then I saw a shower in my life for the first time. Not that I was inside the shower. I saw it for the first time in my life. So, but the problem with human beings and people, they want things to come easy. They don't want to feel pain. I'm the advocate of pain. You have to feel pain. You have to feel how it feels like to stay Mkukwini. You have to feel in you how it feels like not to have money, to be broke and have nothing. And you have got nobody to call. You don't even have airtime to call. Nothing. You have to feel that pain. Don't stay there for a long time. Feel the pain, but don't let the pain drag you down. Feel the pain and push forward and move. How do you move? Someone will say, this guy, I told you my story where I started. I started with nothing. I come from nothing. So, this guy, whatever, he thinks it's easy. I know it's not easy. I never said it's easy. I never said that, but I said it can be done. You can take a bucket of water, and start washing people's cars. You don't need a skill to do that. What skill do you need? You go just make sure the car is clean, the tires are polished, the guy gives you $50, you move to the next house. In a day, you can make $200 through that. 4 cars only. If you are that lazy, just wash 4. Or even if you wash 2, it's fine. You never had $100 anyway. You were broke. That takes you to the next level. So you can start from nothing. The problem is that you want to be given loans to start things. You want to be given money to start things. If tomorrow I lose everything I have, I would be able to survive. I would definitely be able to survive. Everything. Nothing, zero. And myself and my health is good. That's all I need. Because I can have everything, but if I'm not healthy, I'm not mentally strong, I'm as good as not having everything.
Yes, Siyabulela.
Thank you.
So many powerful lessons and messages, so many different shades of who you are. I know you and I have to have more conversations, not just about your life. Speak about your life today because I guess we're introducing you to the world.
Yeah.
There are so many things we need to unpack, but I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to meet with me. I love the idea of building banks.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that you can reactivate the other bank, being the record label.
We should reactivate it.
Yeah. I know you didn't mention property, which is another bank.
Yeah. Forgot.
And I'm just excited about the type of person and the type of mindset you are. I'm big on mindset.
Thank you, man.
I learned at some point in my small business journey that it's not about the money you have. or the money you make.
Mm-mm.
It's about who you become in the process, in the pursuit. And it seems like you've become somewhat of an animal, not only in South Africa, but on the African continent and arguably internationally, that can survive anywhere. And again, Jay-Z says, put me anywhere on God's green earth, I'll triple my worth. And people need to understand that it's not the money you have, it's the mindset you have, the skills you have, the pain you've endured,
yes,
the problems you've solved. I hope this conversation is going to educate and empower and inspire a lot of people. And I think for me,
I think that's an intent, yeah.
You've already dropped a lot of jewels, but just in closing, there's a young child, the Sterkspruit in the Eastern Cape now.
Zahara.
Listening, and just to that child, what would you like to say to them very quickly?
I'd like to say to that child that we're living in a beautiful time. A time where information is everywhere. On your phone, doesn't matter. There's information everywhere. The time that I grew up, there was no information anyway. I had to go get it myself. But now the information, it's been given to everybody. So to that child, please use the information that you get to uplift you. I know a lot of kids, they receive information and they never take that information and use them to uplift themselves. I'm saying to that child, please work on your mindset. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong of you being successful, regardless whether people are gonna say you're using muti or you've got a snake. Doesn't matter. It's for them, not for you. There's nothing stopping that child to become a success in future or become whatever they want to be. Doesn't matter how ridiculous their dream is. I can tell you right now, that child can be able to become anything, a giant, can become a president of this country, can become anything, a CEO of a company. I've seen it through me. I've seen it through a lot of people that I've met in my life. So it is possible. It's hard. That child now maybe might not even have food to eat. But I know it's hard. But that's not a limiting factor. It is possible to make it for yourself.
Siyabulela.
Thank you.
Thank you.